Hello everyone, this is Justin with Davie Resource Group's GIS IT Software Research and Development Group. We're planning an upcoming release for Rover version 3.3, and the real core part of the release is the upload, download, remodel. We wanted to make the system work under different circumstances, and it works now. So our goals were, one, we wanted to improve the speed of the download process. We wanted to be able to download layers simultaneously rather than waiting for each one coming down separately in 1,000 record chunks. We wanted to provide easier to access upload failure reports, so that way our users are aware that there are features that aren't uploading for whatever reason, and they can begin to investigate and hopefully be able to make corrections to the record to enable it for upload. We wanted to transition my RowKeeper's queue mechanism from a static list of all features that match the criteria when you define the queue to being dynamic. So instead of saving the results of a query, save the query itself. And then we wanted to also improve our options for our users to be able to seek support. So let's start by focusing on this idea of a subscription. When we add features to our queue rather than adding the results, we are more or less saving the query itself. So if I go into the data transfer tab here and look at my manage download queue, our users are going to notice it's a little bit different now. We have instead this idea of subscriptions. And so right now I'm currently subscribed to all the features that are assigned to 00496 and 14032. So what this means is if another user were to introduce a record to 14032, when I go to download it, I will receive that record. We no longer need to go into our queue every morning to refresh or re-add all the features into the system at that time. Instead, it persists dynamically. If you want to get to the older way of reviewing your queue, then you can click on the Summary tab here, and it will give you a listing of all the features within a particular, within your subscriptions. And perhaps I'm interested in removing a particular set of data, like maybe I don't want the TGR tree data downloading. Well, I can just hit the X, and that will go ahead and remove it. And what that does is it just modifies my subscriptions, so that way I'm no longer going to be downloading TGR trees for 00496. And we just append those exceptions to all the subscriptions that we currently have in place. So if I wanted to add features to my queue, it's a similar process as before. I'm just going to go in and choose a particular work area and then click the subscribe button. It'll take a moment, but it will then add that subscription to my queue. And so now you can see that I'm actively subscribed to 3 different features, or 3 different subscriptions. And if I wanted to remove any of those, like if I'm done with work area 14032 and I no longer want to include it in my downloads, I can hit the unsubscribe button and that'll remove it. Or I can just temporarily disable it if I want. So within Rover, the changes that we made to the download mechanism, you'll see immediately here the improvement on this user interface. So it's a little bit more informative with what it is doing as it's downloading the information. And so if I click the download button now, clear our messages out so we can kind of see what's happening. But you can see that it's identifying that there's 1,800 features to download, then it's doing a comparison to see what I already have locally that I need to actually do the true download for. There's 659, and as it's going, you can see that it's rendering these completion boxes and showing them up to 100% as you go. If you're downloading a significant set of data and it's going to take a while. You can minimize the data transfer window and just throw it off to the side. It'll run in the background while it's processing. If we go back to this data transfer window, we can kind of get an idea of the information that is presented here. We have each feature is showing whether it's been uploaded or not. And we can go to the pending queue filter to see anything that has yet to be uploaded. We'll take a look at what that looks like in a second. So let's talk about the dynamic nature of it. So if I zoom down into this system here, and I have a area, I'm going to go ahead and add a removal right here. And I'm going to disable internet temporarily just so we can see what that upload message looks like. So let me go ahead and mark these fields so we can save the record. And we'll say this is chip all possible wood. Alright, and then I'll save and close the record. So now I've added this removal, and if I hadn't disabled the internet, that would have uploaded in real time just like it normally does, but I just want to show what the data transfer window shows when there's a pending feature. So if I work my way down here to removals, you can see that there's a red indicator showing that there is a feature that still needs uploaded, and I can go into that and I can just go to the pending message. And we can see that right now it's pending upload. It's just not uploaded because I had internet disabled when I collected it. If I click the upload button, it'll go ahead and process that up. And then we can see that removal item jumps up to the top of the list, and that red item had cleared, and so if I go back to pending, it's no longer there. So you can see all the features that you have in the system at once. You can also see what is remaining to be uploaded. So now let's go to this other rover that I have here off to the side. And we'll zoom into that same area that we were working before. And we'll notice that I don't have the that removal point. So here it is on the rover behind, right next to 3600 Southern Avenue. And then here I don't have anything yet. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'll do a download. And let me bring my window over here so you can see it. It's going through the process. It's downloading the photos first. Now remember, I did add another work area to my queue earlier, so it's also reprocessing that download as well. And again, I can minimize this and just have it running in the background while I am currently doing other activities on the system. And look, there it is. So the feature that I had downloaded while the full data transfer isn't quite complete, the removals are. And so I see that tree has automatically dropped into the system for me. Now one change that we needed to make in order to accommodate this, since we are subscribing to queries more or less, and we're just every time we go to download, we rerun the query on the server and get the features that match that criteria. The other element that we had to be mindful of is Well, what if a feature's changes? A local feature falls outside of this range of criteria that you had used to specify your subscription. For example, you had all the features for feeder 14032 downloading, but then you changed one of those features to a different feeder. Well, now it's no longer in that set, and any other users that have that feeder in their system, when they go to download, they are not going to get that updated that update to that record, so it'll still stay in that old feeder. So what we've done with Rover now is not only when you hit the download button do you get everything that's issued on the server for you, but the system also reconciles any information that you have local against what's on the server, and then acquires the relevant and updated records appropriately. So what this means, and this is a little bit of a change for our users, is you're going to want to be a little bit more mindful of the amount of data that you have loaded on a given Rover, because every time you do a download, it will always reconcile against the server comprehensively, checking every feature that it has locally and just making sure that it's up to date with what's on the server. A great way to minimize the information that you have in your Rover is to take advantage of the ability to archive out, and since we have also the ability to archive out particular layers or by common work areas, you should be able to easily set aside information from your Rover appropriately. Now, the last goal that we wanted to accomplish with Rover 3.3 was the ability to communicate when you're having issues with the system to our support team. And so if I go back into the upload download tool, you will see a couple buttons. The first one being the server validate button. Our long-term Rover users may refer to this as the RK validate. So we've just renamed that function. We've made it available here in the upload download mechanism. So what the RK validate does, or server validate will do, is it just does a comprehensive check against everything local to that Rover just to make sure everything is up to date against the server. We've somewhat incorporated that process into the download, the standard download as well, but it's still there if you want to do a direct action on it. The other element that we've put into the system is this notifying our Rover support of a challenge. So if you click this particular button, a form will come up. It's a troubleshooting upload form at which you can suggest how the impact this is having, what is it involving, and then you can just make a note. Just describing what your actual issue is. After that is done, you can submit, and what the system will do behind the scenes is it's going to email a notification to our Rover support team that you're having this issue, and this information will be included with that email. But the other thing that Rover is doing right now is it's doing a lot of the functionality that the old Auto FTP tool used to do. It's taking a copy of your Rover application, the data within your Rover application, and sending that up to our server, so that way the support team, when they receive this email, will be able to go to the system in order to see what data you had locally. They'll be able to confirm your version number, and then hopefully be able to replicate the issue so we can solve it. So this button here is really all about the Auto FTP tool. We've fully incorporated the Auto FTP tool directly in Rover rather than having it be a separate application outside of this, outside of Rover itself. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for your time. Please, everyone, be safe.